Hello, hello, hello. We are making a video finally. I have been lazy lately. Oh gosh. It's cold in here. I have to wear my gloves. Ice cold. It's like, I don't know. My computer doesn't show the temperature in the room. I'm guessing 40 degrees. Not fun at all, but whatever. I've been watching Nima Arkani Hamed presentations. He goes to all these prestigious, world famous universities, gives lectures there. He's a mathematician, professor, and he is a theoretical physicist. And he has been calculating the amplituhedron. That word, that name is so cool. I think people should get into this, really. It is better than religion, for sure, you know. One guy, a sociologist, in a conversation, it was very interesting, that conversation. Sociologist from Germany kind of accused Nima of talking like a theologist. And I think Nima his brain was like, what? Wait a minute. He had to jump in real quickly and defend himself and say he's an atheist. He said it several times to make sure the guy understood that. And that he is coming purely from science, from exploring. Because science explores through honesty and through finding out for yourself, okay, through moving forward with real observation, with real investigation, not just going by something someone else wrote 2,000 years ago or 1,000 years ago or today. But, you know, you can read what someone wrote at any time. You should, okay? But then you need to not buy into it hook, line, and sinker, but instead you should go out there and test it. You need to investigate it and find out if it's true what that person said. Or if it's hard to investigate it, at least get into that subject matter and study it. Okay? I want to talk more soft-spoken, not so shrill. So, yes, I get kind of excited about all of this. This is exciting. So yeah, we need to explore for ourselves, and we need to not worship anyone or say or believe everything this or that person says, or emulate anyone, or, you know, become like that person, or like some kind of superstar. Just to use a hypothetical example, let's take a superstar, a megastar, right? And people are all worshipping that person, and that superstar starts to smear strawberry jelly on their face every day when they get up. This is a bad idea because that's just going to make your face break out. But let's say they did it with bad results. You know how many people are going to do that too? Just because no, I'm gonna get upset. Yes, I will. I'm going to get upset And when I'm upset, I get the spray bottle. Yes, that is what I usually do. I will get the spray bottle then, yes, and we don't want that. We don't want it. We don't want the spray bottle to come out of the shelf. Yes, no, we don't want that to happen. That would not be a good idea. You see, I got everything stored in Tupperware containers. How practical is that? Oh. That is my room ambiente. Ambient. My space ambient. The very mall ambient. It's like Tupper container storage depot ambient. That is what it is. Yes. Yeah, that's a little bit. This is all a little bit on the Armageddon type of side, but yeah, sometimes you have to think out of the box. You have to think out of these boxes there. Okay, that's what you have to do. Yes, and we have to think dog, and we have to think love. Yeah, come now. Yeah, up here. Up on the couch now. Up. Come up. There. Okay. I will cover you. Yes, I will cover you. I will cover you. For sure. Yeah, I will cover you. There. See, and then it's not so cold when I cover you. So, covering you now. Yes, I'm covering you. Okay, there. There you go. There you go, baby dog. So, okay. This is nice. It's nice. So then it gets nice and warm. Very excellent. You have to praise your dog. When the dog does something reasonable, you need to praise the dog. And when the dog does something unreasonable, you need to not get mad. You need to still talk nice to your dog because they don't know better. And sometimes they're just full of energy and they want to play. And they're like exuberant and all of that. And he is that a lot. And that's good because he is a very young boy. And he wants action and play. And he's doing much better now. As he's getting older, he's doing much better. And he grew also. He grew a lot. He grew like, I would say, by a third of his original size. So not just in terms of fat, but in terms of everything. The bone structure, the whole body grew. And I had the feeling he would be growing. I had the feeling he was like 8 months old when we got him. That's why he was so squirrely. Yes, it's good. You have to cover your dogs. Very important to cover particularly the short-haired dogs. Very important. Yeah, I keep repeating this because it's very, very important to mention this in every video that he comes into. Very important. So, my artwork looks good. Yeah, we got a lot of Tupperware containers now, and so many Tupperware containers because we're going to be moving and we have to set everything up in the most reasonable, in the most provisional way possible. Okay, so that we have everything handy and there, and only the bare necessities that we're using on the daily basis, and everything else is accommodated in Tupperware containers, particularly in the living room. You have probably seen in my other videos when I was in the living room, I have these really large Tupperware containers up there where two of my ET spaceships are standing on, And so I have massive stuff in there, clothes and perfume oils and all kinds of stuff packed in there all the way to the top. So it's difficult to get rid of things sometimes, but we're gonna have to do a yard sale, and we're gonna have to set up the folding tables. I don't know if we are doing this summer or the next summer, but eventually we're gonna have to do it. So, and then we're gonna have to sell a lot of stuff and give stuff away for free, and or sell it for pennies, or just under $1 or 50 cents or something. It's important that we do this, that we sort things out, and everyone should do it. You need to sort things out. You need to get rid of a lot of junk. A lot of people in the United States have this, what I call the US illness, which is hoarding. Paul has it. I don't have it. I'm lucky with that. I have a lot of stuff, but this is stuff I use, and that stuff I absolutely love. And I have the tendency to buy too much too. So I am not one of those ascetists out there, who can just live without any kind of stuff and without any perfume or pleasure items. So I need all of these pleasure items. I am very hedonistic. I'm very much into getting a lot of stuff that pampers me and so on, So, and there's nothing wrong with it, but we need to definitely, as the fashion designer Vivienne Westwood said, we need to tone it down with the consumerism. That for sure. We have to do that for Mother Earth. Very important. And so I make my own sweaters. I'm wearing my own self-made sweater right now, the giraffe sweater I'm wearing right now. So here's the giraffe sweater that has more and more extensions embedded into it. Here's part of the giraffe, I think. So here's part of zebra. So, but I have to zip it up because it's cold. And I love my sweaters, absolutely love it. And I make them out of fabric rests. And that's what Vivienne Westwood did too. And that's what she was promoting for us to do. To make stuff out of fabric rests, not throw things away. Reuse, recycle, do it for Mother Earth. It's very important. I'm making so many sweaters now. I made a sweater out of a baby blanket that we got for like $1 or $2 at Walmart. Baby blanket with the galaxy on it. Perfect. Absolutely love it. And I made an amazing sweater. I made an amazing turtleneck sweater with that. That comes up to here, and it's really warm. Half arm, because I don't like it when the long sleeves falls onto my wrist and then the water from the ice water from the faucet runs down into my sleeve. I don't like that at all. So I have to make half arm sweaters, but that's okay, to keep warm when I'm in a cold room. I have a long arm sweatshirt or jacket on to put on top of that half arm sweater. But the half arm sweater is still like 100 times warmer than a t-shirt. So really, really nice, made out of fleece materials, and keeps me really, really warm and comes way over the hips, not like the sweaters you see in the store particularly in the women's section, I always see the sweaters too short. Do these people have such short backs, or I think I have a much longer back than the average person, so like a foot longer, that's what it seems. But in general, why don't they make these sweaters longer? I know why. They don't want to spend the money on the extra fabric material. That's why. It's all about greed. And then greed also dictates the fashion trend. And then the fashion trend is like to have the sweaters really short, so that they can save on fabric, but you're going to get a bladder infection. And you show off your belly and your belly button, right? And you can only do this at the equator, not here, okay? So, but even if you like showing that off, it's not a good idea. It's not something you should do. I mean, or if you don't care if this, or whatever, maybe the sweater is just barely long enough for your back, but then if you stretch like this, then the sweater will come up, and if I stretch like this, then you see how this pulls up, but underneath I still have my giraffe sweater, see? And so that's how I keep warm. And my giraffe sweater comes way over the hips, and it doesn't matter how I stretch my body, it keeps me warm, and that's what matters, that's very important to do this. And just always have the sweater longer than you need it. Why not, So I have my sweaters extra long because, first of all, I need them longer, a foot longer at least, and then I make it even another foot longer, so that I have maximum protection over the hips and also my thighs and all of that, because I tend to get bladder infections. No, don't do it. Lie down now. Lie down. Don't lie down now. Don't lie down now. Lie down. No, lie down now. Lie down, down. Lie down. There. You lie down now. Okay, I doubled it up. So, yes, it's cold in here. I know that. Yeah, this is good. So, yeah, this is good. Oh, yeah. You want to keep warm. Yes, the dining room is warmer, but the dining room, the light in there is not very good. So I like this better here in my room. You can see my artwork. And the ceiling light is a spot lamp, and that looks better, I think. So there are so many thoughts going through my mind all the time. I watch these math presentations, even though I'm not into math. But the reason why I watch that is because it has a good energy. Okay, that Nima Arkani Hamed is awesome. Okay, he's amazing. And he has amazing energy radiating. Okay. So he is not on any of the social media website. I was looking for him. I'd love to talk to him someday. Would be amazing. Okay, so just as a friend, he radiates out great energy. I'm sure he's married, but great energy, and that would be amazing to find people like him to talk to. That would be a real present to find people like him to talk to. And him and Paul Watson and Max Laughlin and Elon Musk and all of these amazing people, that would be such a present to be able to talk to someone like this for even just half an hour. Or Ben Goertzel, I talked to Ben Goertzel. I was so lucky that I got to talk to Ben Goertzel, oh my gosh, now he is flooded. Okay, so I caught him just before the fan base grew to astronomical proportions. So, like, it grew into outer space with him. So there were a couple of documentaries where he was in terms of the top AGI developers. He was in it, and all the women were like, Ben Goertzel, I need to talk to him. I'm fanboy now. So yeah, we're all fanboys of all of these people. And it's okay, it's cool, it's cool, right? And all of us who are not into math that much and don't understand anything they're talking about, well, then we can just sit there and admire them without our brain ever even needing to go out there in order to verify whether what they're saying is true or not, right? But they don't want to be just taken as some kind of guru. They want you to go out there and find out for yourself. Those are not, they would never try to be someone's guru. That's why I love them so much. They are enthusiastic. Those are happy people. They're enthusiastic. Elon Musk has a very hard time with the haters. Okay, so it's awful. You do not want to be in his shoes. Okay, the haters, the entire mafia, the world mafia, the Chinese mafia, the Italian mafia, the organized crime, in general. But I call it mafia. It's world mafia. Okay. They're all interlinked. Okay, it's pretty clear. It's a greed network. Maybe we can call it greed network, but I call it the mafia. It sounds better. It sounds more elegant, like a perfume, right? But it is what it is. It's world mafia. And they don't want anyone who makes the world a better place, particularly not someone of those epic proportions like Elon Musk, who really has leverage, who really literally is saving the world. The world mafia doesn't want that. So they pay people to harass him, and they do all kinds of things. They sue him with fraudulent lawsuits. Jeff Bezos constantly suing Elon Musk with completely ridiculous, fraudulent, and idiotic lawsuits just to take Elon Musk's time. It's like what they're doing to Donald Trump, sending him into ridiculous, fraudulent, false accusation lawsuits and trials and arrest and all of this, okay, with the judge. It's all based on total lies, made up shit against Donald Trump. Donald Trump, not one of these accusations against Donald Trump are true. Okay, it's all false because the mafia is afraid, the world mafia is afraid of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Those are the two main driving forces that they are afraid of, because these people have massive leverage over the world in terms of making the world better. They're working with stuff that can really move mountains, and the mafia knows that, and they're afraid of that. And also, of course, not just that, what they are capable of doing as individuals, but what they're capable of doing as a collective. How they are able to work with other people in harmony, how they work with all the good people, to make the world better, how they're supporting all the good people. and how they're creating family, like massive supporter base. That's family, okay? Family, big family of good people that want to all make the world better, that are supporting Elon Musk and Donald Trump, okay? And this huge support base is a threat to the mafia, because the more people support the good guys, the more the good people will know what is good and what's bad. And the more they will teach the entire audience, the entire world public, what is good and what is bad. Because most people don't even have a clue on, they have been misinformed on what is good and what is bad, what is healthy, what is not healthy, what is good for the environment, what is not good for the environment, what is good for our relationship, what's not good for our relationships, what is good for our animals, our health, and so on, and what's not good for any of these daily modalities that we live with. Okay, so people are misled. People are lured in to worshipping people, because the corporate mafia makes money on that. Okay, so don't worship someone who isn't making the world a better place. Don't worship someone who's just showing their ass off, right? I'm not zooming in on anyone specifically here. I feel sorry for a lot of those people. It's like, this is a business, okay? This is ass business, okay? You get it? I mean, it's like, you know how that works. Sex sells. That's what it is. And in the process, they're prostituting themselves to the corporate mafia, okay? And it's very sad. It's sad for me to see that people are doing this, that a lot of celebrity women are doing this. It's sad. It's not good. Don't do that. Okay? Don't cater to them. Don't have sex with some producer just because you are hoping that this will get you not fired or not censored or not cancelled, or that will get you promoted up or whatever, you know. So don't compromise like that. Don't do it. Don't compromise with your own specific physical and mental needs. Okay? I don't. Okay? I say no to threats. I say no to any kind of extortion. Any kind of blackmailing, I say no to. Okay? I cannot be blackmailed. No matter how much people will try. I'm willing to have a conversation. I'm willing to talk to people because I know that people suffer. So I'm willing to talk to everyone because they suffer. Paul will say, you can't talk to anyone. It's better if they don't even know you. But I'm on the internet. There are some people that have known me now for over 10 years. And they suffer. And I see that. Okay? Even though they don't want me to see that, they don't want me looking into their brains, right? But I look into their brains anyway. Because, yeah, they're drunk, they leak everything out. So, and then I see, just like my brother, my brother leaked it all out, all over the place, what he's doing, right? It's kind of like a criminal who's drunk and telling me his entire plot on how to rob a bank. Right? And then all I have to do is just record it and go to the FBI and lay it all out there for them. And then they would do an investigation. The problem is, that's my brother. The problem is, and I did have to go to the police. And the police is not on my side because my brother is master manipulator. Okay, he knows to. In the very end, because I was just absolutely terrified for my dad. That's why I had to do this. But then I see that my dad is compliant with my brother, and the police is compliant with my brother. And it's like, if you have nobody on your side, how can you help someone halfway around the globe, particular? You can't. So you have to let go of it. And that's what I had to do. I had to let go of it. But I still pray for them. I pray for them, not in the religious sense, not in the Bible sense, not in any religion. I pray to them. I pray to the blue God for them. I say, blue God, protect them. They don't know what they're doing, okay? And they really don't. My dad is old and he doesn't have a clue, okay? And my brother is a corrupt manipulator. And it's very sad. My brother is very Machiavellian. He's a drug addict. And he doesn't have his life in his own hands at all whatsoever. He's going to squander all of the inheritance. He frauded me out of the inheritance. I cried a lot. But at some point, I had to realize, okay, I am here, they are there. I let it go. Okay, I had to let it go. I had to let all of this go. Also the monthly support, I already had to let it go while my mother was still alive. So, because, and my therapist, Esther Odermatt, I wrote to her one more time. I don't want to bother her too much. She has already so much to do. She's in Switzerland. She's a primal therapist. And I can't afford it anymore to do primal, but I wanted to see how she's doing, and I just wanted to briefly touch base, and I told her that I want to break free from my parents. I was still on monthly support from my parents. And she said to me, you need to let go of it. You need to let go for your own peace of mind. You cannot be... Because this attachment, specific attachment of financial dependency to people that I had to actually run away from, is very counterintuitive to the breaking free process. So if I'm still on the umbilical cord, on the financial bank umbilical cord to my parents, how can I really be free? I can't. I'd be kidding myself. You know? And I knew all of this for years, and I was struggling with this. So, and I said to Esther, I know I have to break free. I know I do. And she said, you can do it. I believe that you can do it. You can do it. All you have to do is, you have to realize it and break free. You don't have to be dependent on them. Okay. You're intelligent. You can make it. You can make it in this world. And I needed to hear this. And that was very precious for me. Paul thinks this is insane. And how can you listen to primal therapists? They are full of shit. They don't know what they're doing. They're like, everything is ass backwards with them. Everything. You know, that's Paul's view on it. Okay? That's not my view on it. Esther knows exactly what she's talking about. This is an energetic thing. This is mind. This is mind over matter. This is a mental. This is brain. This is psychology, okay, to the fullest extent. And I understand that very well. And that's why I had to break free. I had to, okay. And I can't argue with Paul over this. Paul would just get real loud and angry, and he'll become rude and uses put downs and all of that. And I can't talk to him about this. He's just seeing this from a very specific angle, from his personal angle of we need to accumulate as much money as we can, even if we suck up to people. Doesn't matter. Never break up your bridges. Okay, that's Paul's view on it. Also, saying that to a Medusa, to a borderliner, that's not a good idea, because me, the borderliner, most women are borderline, by the way. So borderline psychotic, I guess is what it means. Like borderline, always at that border of having an emotional overload, an emotional meltdown, and then something triggering and emotional meltdown, and then I snap or I write a mean letter. That's borderline. Okay. So he doesn't help me with that, telling me all of this, that don't break up your bridges. That's the rebel inside of me will say, what the heck? Now I'm really gonna break up the bridges. I just needed someone to say don't break up the bridges. That's all it took. So, but no, I know what I have to do and what I don't have to do, and no matter what other people say to me, I know what someone says to me rings true, and what someone says to me doesn't ring true. So obviously I know Esther is right and Paul is not right. I had to break up my bridges in many ways. So financially, I had to break up in terms of video conversations with my mother, because that did not go well. Okay, my mother triggered me so badly. My mother triggered my Medusa so badly, and I feel sorry about this, but it is what it is. I can't lie to myself. I can't pretend something and say she didn't trigger me, or I need to constantly see her from the sky perspective, which I can't, because my mind is not always still to where I can see her from the sky perspective. When I'm agitated or angry, I cannot see something from the sky perspective. I know the sky perspective is there and it is all good and valid, but the rebel inside of me, I don't want to talk about the sky perspective right now. I'm angry or whatever, I can only see it from my earth perspective. In that moment, I see people from my person perspective, from the person on earth, from the mentally ill person perspective, right? So from the highly sensitive person perspective, because obviously sometimes people like my mother and my grandfather, they have triggered me very badly, and they have in the past traumatized me. They have caused complex PTSD for me. The way they interacted with me, just words alone, verbal interaction can cause a child PTSD, complex PTSD. Okay, people need to be informed about this. I was not very clear on this for a long time in my life, but it was into my 50s when all of that dawned on me. When all of these puzzle pieces fell into their place, and when I became very clear on what is going on. So Paul cannot see these things from their perspective, and he never will, and I'm not going to expect him to ever awaken to this reality. So it is what it is, He has never worked on his anger towards his dad. His dad is long gone, but Paul will be driving on the freeway and suddenly he talks himself into a rage against his dad. And that's not good while you're driving on the freeway, so obviously. So it's a little scary because, and that's exactly what I don't want anymore. I don't want to suddenly fall into a rage. I want to work on that, and I want to work that off. I want to heal all of this rage against my parents, my mother, and my grandfather in particular. But also my brother, who has been very mean to me, okay, for as long as I have known him. But it's easier for me to understand my brother from the sky perspective than it is to understand my grandfather and my mother. But I can understand all of them from the sky perspective now. This is, if you want to call it forgiveness, I don't use that word, but this is what basically people mean with forgiveness. I guess that's what they mean, but I find the word forgiveness problematic. Because forgive, let the prisoner get out and give him another chance and another chance and another chance indefinitely doesn't work. Okay, so that's why I am against this concept of this traditional concept of forgiveness, because it doesn't it's not productive. Okay, so forgiveness, it's well meant, but it's not productive. It doesn't function. Because if you just forgive someone, you still haven't worked on your mental illness, emotions, in regards to that person that has hurt you or traumatized you and so on. So, but I don't want to be misunderstood and people thinking, then you will sit on this rage. No, that's exactly what I'm not trying to do. Okay, so I want to see them from the sky perspective. More and more and more, right? And when I'm not in the sky perspective, I'm not going to suppress the anger. I work it through. I cry through it. I talk through it. I sit with that anger and not suppress it and just feel how it feels without acting it out. And Thich Nhat Hanh taught me that even if you pound your anger out on a pillow and on a mattress, it's still this anger act out. It's still giving into this anger act out. And I had to think about this for many, many years. I was conflicted because Dr. Arthur Janov, who founded Primal Therapy, he said that it is important to rage things out onto the mattress. And in some cases, it may be, okay. There, in some cases, a person is in such an anger momentum that it's only like it's either the mattress or a living being that's being pounded on. So take your pick. So in Primal Therapy, when someone was completely in a rage, we would take these people before. We would gently take them by the arm and say, don't go over there. Don't go. Don't let it out on that person. Here. We bring you to the padded wall. And then they go for it. They go for the padded wall because that's the next best thing. And they know it. They still know it cognitively in the prefrontal cortex. That'd be horrible to go after that person, right? Because they can still see it a little bit from the wider perspective in that moment. So they'll go for the mattress. A lot of people can't. A lot of people, I think most people in the world, cannot. They cannot use the prefrontal cortex. Okay? And that's that's why we have wars. That's why we have all of the violence in the world. So that's why a lot of people, they're so uncontrolled. psychologically. That's why those type of people need to have a therapy center. Those type of people need to have a closed therapy center. And that's what the prison system has to be converted into a closed sanatorium, closed ward. Okay, very important. I'm not saying this in the chat room to be funny or something. This is, I really mean it. Now, baby dog, now lie down now. Lie down. Lie down. Yeah, lie down now. Lie down. Down, lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. It's cold. The sleeping bag's probably not warm enough. I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna have to go back in the other room on the couch there, and I have to cover him there with the sleeping bag there, and then it will be okay. Yes, we're gonna wrap this video up now. Yes, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. But these are important things that I needed to say. It is important that we work on our mental illness. Everyone is almost every human is mentally ill. Almost. Most people don't even know it. So there are various degrees of mental illness and intensities, okay? There's cluster B. Cluster B mental illnesses. It's Machiavellianism, that's Bill Gates, greed act outs. And there is sociopathy. Bill Gates has that too. There's psychopathy. That's the people that don't use the prefrontal cortex, that will go after someone in a rage without any kind of mental checks or feedback or restraint, right? So, and then there are people that are going after another living being in a sadistic way. There's not even anger in there. That is a complete malfunction of the brain. Yeah. This is real brain damage. Jiddu Krishnamurti talked about this with David Bohm. And they do that. It's some kind of dopamine addiction loop. It's to get their mind off their own mental illness, their own suffering. And that's also why women cut themselves, for that same reason. A lot of women cut themselves. A lot of men hurt other living beings. And they do this. They each do this for the dopamine loop addiction, and that gets them out of the normal grind of mental illness, of depression and so on, of feeling insignificant and feeling this grind of daily pain, mental pain. Okay, so that's what they do. And that's absolutely horrific. And these people need to be in sanatoriums. Very, very important. Very important. And the cutters, the self-cutters, they need to be in a closed ward as well. They have to be. Okay. They can't be out there hurting themselves like this. We can't let someone mutilate themselves. Very important to talk about this. Okay. The Open Therapy Help Center is for people that are functioning, for people that are kind to other living beings, for people that are productive members of our society, that wouldn't hurt anyone ever, okay, would never hurt a dog or punish their children with something or whatever, or do snuff videos. So the Open Therapy Center is for people that are kind-hearted, that are supportive of all living beings, that are helpful to others, but that also need contact and need to talk to someone And most of those are also mentally ill in some form, okay, in different forms, usually OCD, I have that very severely, or borderline. And when I talk about borderline, and I'm probably swaying away from the physician's manuals and the psychiatrist's manuals, but I question these manuals, so I think they are not completely accurate. So I question them very much so because I observe things for myself. So borderline, when I talk about borderline, I talk about people that will snap and have meltdowns, but they might even break something, a chair or something, or scream, but they're not going to hurt another living being in that process. That's what I talk about when I talk about borderline. Borderline, I used to break things in the past that ended. Okay, I'm still borderline, but I use my prefrontal cortex now, okay, before I throw the chair into the Chippendale glass cabinet, right? I'm thinking first. So it's very helpful to do that. I mean, I can get into a pretty bad fit. Yeah. But I'm working on this. And the more I work on myself, the less this meltdown has any kind of stronghold over my brain anymore, or over my action, right? So the more the prefrontal cortex is being used in that moment, so the more we work on this. That also applies to all the cluster B mental illnesses, of course. They are just, it's just they are in another category of suffering and of having no control, okay, over their minds. So that's like the opposite of a yogi who has, or someone who's enlightened who has full control over their mental faculties. But having full control over the mental faculties alone is not the total healing process yet. That's a very important modality, but that in itself isn't the total healing process. There have been people in caves for 10 years and so on, and they come out and they're still assholes. Okay, so they haven't really worked things out. And it's very difficult to work things out in terms of relationship and relating to others if we live in a cave, right? So, because then we don't even get the chance to work with other people. So I find that very unuseful, to go into a cave. It may be good to go into a seclusion or reclusion for a while of some sort, maybe in nature or something, but not to those yogi type of extremes. I mean, if people want to do it, okay, that is, if they don't hurt anyone, they can do anything they want to do, right? But I don't see that this is part of the healing process and the healing journey. It becomes another act out, actually. So me hiding here, being a recluse, that in itself is another act out. It's an avoidance act out. Okay, so I'm very well aware of that. Tomorrow we're going to the other house. We're going to stop at different places. I'm going to get to see other animals and people on the way when we take them for a walk, and maybe we go to the beach. So it's very important for me to do this. I have to do this at least once a month, at least. It would not be good if I stay in this house and garden indefinitely. That would not be good for my mind. It would not help me to heal. Okay, I'm very well aware. So it's a difficult, very difficult healing journey when I'm doing act outs of OCD avoidance. And I also have paranoia. I have extreme fear of humans, particularly men. And there's a reason for it. I have been battered by boyfriends. I have been date raped. I mean, it wasn't such a big deal. I didn't make such a fuss about it because, I was already hugging the guy and so on. But I said to him no, and he pushed me down anyway and all of that. And when the woman says no and you do it anyway, it is technically rape. And you know it, okay? You must respect the will of the woman, okay? You have to. You cannot overpower the woman just because you have more muscles, okay? That you don't have the right to do this. Okay? It's very important to say all of this. So I have been terribly sexually harassed my whole life, and in school by physicians also. I didn't go to the police. I didn't make a fuss about it. I'm not going to go on this bandwagon. Me too. That's a bullshit. We know how men are, okay? So the man is a sexual animal out of control. It's not using the prefrontal cortex, right? But, I don't blame anyone who will do some legal action because obviously, someone has to stand up against it globally in a political sense, in a sociological way, because that's how we make progress and we get better laws and all of it. And I'll sign petitions in this direction to protect women, of course. But I have never been horrifically treated. I've never been physically hurt by a man. I mean, in the sense that I see this on the internet. Javad Zahedi from Iran he was the only one who has tried to hurt me physically. Okay, but I'm pretty tough and I'm Michelin tire man, so so it's very difficult, if you kick the Michelin tire man against the legs, then you're kicking against some fat. I mean, it still hurt, and he threw me against the wall also in the hallway of the apartment building. And I had to scream for help because I don't know what he was going to do. So I was scared. So then another Iranian guy came. He was at the college. He came to help me. So, and I'm glad he did. So now I can tell the story of two Iranian guys, a good guy and a bad guy. So it's not ending up to be a story of them Iranians. And that brings me also to Nima Arkani Hamed, who is Iranian, but he grew up in Texas, I guess, or was born in Texas, I don't know. But he grew up in Texas, and he talks really fast and with a U.S. accent, and he's a U.S. American, but Iranian descent. So I believe his parents or grandparents are from Iran, and he has visited Iran. I studied him a little bit. So he's fully Iranian descent, but that's a genius. Now this is someone who is like 1 in 10. I don't know. 1 in 10 million. That would be a wrong estimation. He's 1 in 2 billion, maybe? Yeah, he's one person in 2 billion people. Particularly when it comes to the Middle East. So, I mean, he's kind, he's none of that. He's not like Javad, he's not none of these Muslim worshippers or that beat dogs and women. He's absolutely has nothing to do with that. Okay. He is So it's important for me to bring up those examples that are not like that. If you want to do a statistics on the Middle East, you will come up with some anti-woke numbers. But you do the statistics for yourself. You see for yourself. Then you don't have to talk to me about this. You don't have to blame me for bringing this up, right? So they're statistics, and they are valid. Right? But I like to bring up these rare examples because I want them to be the role models for the world. Okay. Also, there's a woman in Iran, I think in Tehran, that's also where Javad Zahedi was from, and he even told me about her. He said there's a woman in Tehran who cries every day for the animals, and she rescues dogs and different animals from the street that are being abused, and it's really bad in the Middle East, as you can imagine. And she rescues them from these horrific Ramadan animal sacrifice rituals, okay, that are just like satanic rituals, just like that. And horrible what's happening in the Middle East and Pakistan and parts of India. Really horrible. This needs to be stopped. And there's a man in India, Bamjan. He is trying to stop that by teaching people about, he is a Buddhist monk, and he's teaching people. He came out of a long meditation, and he's teaching people to end these animal rituals, these animal sacrifices. End it, okay? End it. It's not going anywhere. It's not making the world better. It's making the world worse. These animal rituals, animal satanic, Muslim, Hindu, whatever animal sacrifice rituals are making the world suffer more and more and more. Okay, that's an energy that comes out of that. That is very detrimental for all living beings, for you too, for everyone. End it now. Okay, I'm going to end the video with this. Peace and love for all living beings. I actually have to take the glove off. So, okay. Peace and love.